Get your Hiya Toys stuff at Big Bad Toy Store. Check him out at the link in the description. And remember, King Ghidorah is coming soon.
Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey there, collectors. It's Steven here, and today we're talking about fire. We're taking a look at the Hiya Toys Godzilla 2019 Burning Godzilla. It's exquisite. Is it exquisite basic? Where's the box? I don't know where the box is at. You know which figure I'm talking about here. So we have the 2019, we had the Godzilla vs. Kong Heat Ray, we have the Godzilla vs. Kong 2.0 version, we have this, and then we have the translucent Heat Ray. So Hiya is basically just capitalizing on their re-sculpted MonsterVerse Godzilla. Can't quite blame them when there are so many different legitimate variants that they can do, but at the exact same time, are we just tired of this sculpt already? Is Hiya milking us too much for the money, or is this just going to be a legitimate variant fans have been waiting for because it's somewhat close to accurate? Well, let's take a look to see whether or not it's going to be worth adding into your collection. When it comes to looks, honestly, aside from the really, really high-end stuff, which, spoiler alert, there's not much that has even gotten close. I don't think there's really a good MonsterVerse Burning Godzilla figure. It's not thermonuclear, by the way, just so we're all on the same page. I gotta say that. Anyway, so Burning Godzilla just doesn't really capture the accuracy, which I guess it depends on what you're looking at for the source material, but we're going to go ahead and just look at it for how they did it, which I do think for the quality control wise, everything is good except for one little notch on Godzilla's face. Otherwise, I think the figure does look rather solid. There is a nice blend of the oranges, the yellows, and the reds, and the darker, I don't know if we would exactly call that black because is it brown? I don't know. I don't really know. I can't really tell, but I do think that this nails it a lot better than even the import counterparts from Japan, because that one, depending on the light and how it hits it, looks a bit green. I covered that in my review of that particular figure, Monsters. And then when we have the more affordable option that was available on the market some years ago, the NECA, that one had a particular stylization to it, which, while it did look cool, it was definitely off the mark with the sort of lightning bolt streaks that were found on the figure. The dorsal plates definitely do stick out for this one, wherein, hey, that's a pretty neat design choice, but once again, not quite accurate. I think that's really going to be the complaint that I have here, is that it's not accurate, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, it does look good. Here's the last part that I'm going to talk about. This is something that we find on a lot of figures wherein the joints are painted or the actual detail, the decal is applied there as well. And then over time, as you move the joints around, tends to rub off. As a matter of fact here, Hiya did the same thing, but they actually did it in a way wherein it was like pre-posed out of the box, and that's kind of where the print stopped. Moving the elbow joints, I don't have any paint rubbing off. So there's that. Articulation, and he moves. He moves, doesn't he? Yes, which again, not quite accurate in terms of looks when we take a look at how it looked on the screen, but I still think he looks rather solid. So, jaw, hinge, tongue, hinge, ball joint system for the neck. Looks up about that far, looks down about that far. He can look left, he can look right, well, our left and right, and all the way around, twist and turn, all that good stuff. Ball jointed shoulders, so he can raise and lower, and he can spin, and he can do all the fun stuff, which is really cool. Okay. Elbow hinge. You can see I put my money where my mouth is. We don't have any flakage, which is really cool, isn't it? Yeah. All right. So we do have swivels there as well. Spin around, and as you can see, it's not printed on the back. Ball jointed wrists. Cool. Waist. This one does feel a bit easier to move than my other Hiya Godzillas. So there we go. More so natural coloration of this Maple Leaf Godzilla dorsal plated figure. Ball jointed hips. So we can go about that far, go that far forward and that far back. For the knees, we have a ball joint that plugs in here and a ball joint that plugs in there. And then we have hinges where they meet. So we can get Godzilla to do some funky things along with a little bit of tilt if needed. But basically just double hinges. We do have ankle rockers, which is pretty cool. And this is what Bandai wishes they could do. Look at that much stress that I needed to pop that off. All right. Ooh. So, as you can see, and look at that. Look at that. Hold on. Hold on. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you? Anyway. Yep, the articulation is pretty much the same. No real problem here. Very nice. Very good. Thumbs up. The whole point that I was showing you there is they actually applied the paint detail beyond just where the sculpt blocked it. And they can't do that. Theirs is more expensive. And we'll go ahead and round out the review with a size comparison since there are no accessories. A quick one, I think, because how many times have we had this figure? Enough. Buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Here's your side-by-side comparison with the Monster vs. Godzilla mold, because it's the same thing, just repainted in burning colors. I think that if you've been wanting a Monster vs. Burning Godzilla, this is obviously going to be the route to go. Since the NECA is way off the market, you have to be aware of counterfeit product, and the Monster Arts is probably now way significantly more overpriced, and not as good bang for your buck as you can for this one. We'll go ahead and save you the figure fight there. This has not exactly hit US distribution just yet. It is coming in soon, so if you have your pre-order, I would say save it and get it, because this is basically going to be the same song and dance that you already know, and if you like Hiya, you're going to like it. If you love Hiya, you already love it. You already know what you're going to get here. Pretty straightforward. On the nose review, we're done. I'm just adding time. Yep. There you go.